How many ways can I be grateful? How many ways? Given the chance, I'm gonna tell you now. How many ways can I give thanks for the blessings I have known? I've got a list, and I will tell you how. Grateful for each breath awake, grateful for each step I take, grateful that I'm here to play my part. Grateful for the morning sun, grateful when the day is done, grateful that I have you in my heart. Grateful for this universe, for the better and the worse. Grateful that this world keeps spinning round. Grateful for my memories, grateful for my hopes and dreams, grateful for the blessings I have found. Give praises for all the gifts I have. Given the chance, I'm gonna shout out loud. Grateful for each breath awake, grateful for each step I take, grateful that I'm here to play my part. Grateful for the morning sun, grateful when the day is done, grateful that I have you in my heart. How many ways can I be grateful? How many ways? How many ways can I be grateful? How many ways? How many ways can I be grateful? How many ways? How many ways can I be grateful? How many ways? I'm grateful. How many ways can I be grateful? How many ways? I'm grateful. How many ways can I be grateful? How many ways? I'm grateful. How many ways can I be grateful? How many ways? I'm grateful. How many ways can I be grateful? How many ways? I'm grateful. How many ways can I be grateful? How many ways? I'm grateful. How many ways can I be grateful? How many ways? I'm grateful. How many ways can I be grateful? How many ways? I'm grateful. How many ways can I be grateful? How many ways? I'm grateful now.
my mind, in my heart, in my soul, in my life. I have been searching for something, but you were my dream. You're perfect, you're golden, golden. You're the light, your love. You're perfect, you're golden. You're the light, my love. When I breathe, when I swallow, caress I feel. When I listen, I hear the most beautiful music out of nowhere. You're perfect, you're golden. You're my light, my love. You're perfect, you're golden. You're my light, my love, my love. Light-it-light-it-light-it-light. Light-it-light-it-light-it-light. When I'm sad and dark, shallow and in doubt. When I'm trying my best to put one foot in front of the other. Perfect, you're golden. You're the light of my life. You're the be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. Oh, yeah.
Hello, and welcome to the People of Diversity Sunday service. We are a multi-faith community, and we believe there are many paths to one divinity. We have 10 different speakers from 10 different faiths and 10 different sets of musicians. And at the beginning of each 10-week series, we give them a topic. And each week they take their turn and send their videos in, either a message from the speakers and a couple of videos of music from the musicians. And Scott and I do the hello and goodbye. We send it all to Philip and his tech team, and they put it together, and that's what you're looking at right now.
Whoosh. Make it perfect.
Make it perfect. So, if you would like to join us in this endeavor, go to www.peopleofdiversity.org and push the donate button. And we appreciate everything that we get. We pay our speakers, we pay our musicians, and we pay our tech team, and we tithe. So your money goes to good places. Thank you.
All right, last week we had Reverend Lydia Junis along with a brand new musician, Leanne Nelson Allen. Did I get that right?
Yes.
Right on. Perfect.
She's brand new to us. She didn't come across as being brand new.
She's not
She was
very
really
brand new.
good.
She's a very, very good singer and has a beautiful, beautiful voice. Yeah. Today we'll hear from Reverend Lydia Junis.
Nope. Reverend Sue Bailey.
Today we'll hear from Reverend Sue Bailey. And yet another new person. The next 2 weeks we'll have a couple of folks from Canada. This week we'll have Neil McNaughton, and next week connected up with our Wiccan representative Oracle, we'll have Kimberly Wakerton. Wickerton.
Yes.
Beautiful.
And next week will be our last week on compassion.
Right. So for past services, for the little ding on Sunday morning and Sunday afternoon, for generally staying up to date with all things happening, at least on a weekly basis at the pod, please join the People of Diversity page or group, whichever one works for you. Whichever one works for you. And it will do all those things, keep you abreast, give you little dings, and let you go back and archive back past the past 3.5 years of multi-faith services. We also have a YouTube channel now. If you subscribe to that channel at 10:30 on Sunday morning, that channel goes live, and you'll be able to interact on that page with us and shoot hearts and hang out and make comments and do all the things you would be able to do on Facebook. But if you don't like Facebook, you can go there. We have a deep dive immediately following the morning services on Sunday from 11:45 to 12:15. Gives us a chance to bat things around. When the speaker is available, they show up and we can ask them questions.
And Sue told me she was coming.
And
this
she's
weekend.
coming to hang out.
Right,
Perfect.
yeah.
It's always good hanging out with Sue. She always drops a little extra wisdom at the deep dive, so don't miss out on that. In the evening on Sunday at 5:45, we rebroadcast the morning service so that you can get a double dip. So that you could be doing your beach church or your other church in the daytime and visit us at night, and that is also what we pin to the top of the page, so that you can pop back during the week if that is your preference. I think that's all I know.
Each week we bless a country, so if you know anything at all about the country that we're blessing next week, send it to the email address below. Next week our country is Moldova.
Moldova.
Yes. This week
Just
we
there
are
last week.
This
I
week
don't have a passport. I couldn't have been there.
This week we are blessing the Federated States of Micronesia. Federated States of Micronesia. Federated States of Micronesia is located in the western Pacific Ocean. It's comprised of more than 600 islands organized into 4 states. That's why their flag has 4 stars on it. It's a very simple flag, but it's really pretty. They have 271 square miles of land area and only 100,319 people. Very sparsely populated.
Oh my.
Most Micronesians are either some type of Protestant or they are Roman Catholic. They are ranked as the world's 10th most obese nation. 47% of the people 15 years old and older are considered obese, and 91% are considered overweight. And we haven't done them any favors. This is caused by the sudden importation of processed foods that are high in salt and fat, and they also have extremely high rates of cardiovascular disease and type 2 diabetes. It's home to the only ancient city built on a coral reef. It was built between 1200 and 1500 AD and holds the remains of palaces, tombs, and houses.
Wow.
One island, Mogmog, is home to the world's largest crab. If you like to eat crab, you're probably salivating right now. Its leg span is 3 feet across, and it can crush a coconut with its pincers. So if you're thinking about eating that one, you better be careful. You might get the tables turned. The Federated States of Micronesia has the best shipwreck diving in the world, with more than 60 ships that were sunken during World War II. And our last fun fact is Operation Christmas Drop is the longest running humanitarian airlift in the world. It began in 1942, and up to 40,000 pounds of donated food, fishing supplies, construction material, clothes, toys, and school supplies are dropped to 60 of the world's most remote islands every single year.
Huh.
So, yeah, pretty cool.
Right.
That's really orchestrated by the United States Air Force. And several countries in the last few years have joined in on that and donated goods and helped drop the supplies. So
That's neat.
yeah. So let's hold the people of the Federated States of Micronesia in our hearts, and knowing they want the same things in their lives that we want in ours. We bless them with our love. They want peace. They want abundance. And we say these words together. May peace prevail in Micronesia. May peace prevail on earth. May peace prevail in me. Thank you.
All right, we will get 2 songs from Brother Neil McNaughton, and then we will get an amazing talk from Rev Sue. I'm looking forward to it, on compassion, and we will see you on the other side.
Hello, people of diversity, and thank you for having me. My name is Neil McNaughton, and I am your guest musician this week on the subject of compassion. I wrote this song specifically for this service, based on a poem by Emily Dickinson. Now, in the poem, the basic gist of it is that if you see someone in need and you offer compassion, then your life will be better. You will not have lived your life in vain. In fact, the line in the poem that repeats several times is, "I will not live my life in vain." But I read the poem and thought of that line as not so much an if, therefore, an if and, but more of a command. If you tell yourself, if you make your own purpose to live a life that is not in vain, then you perhaps will make compassion part of that purpose. And in so doing, well, we all benefit. The one who receives compassion feels the love, but you, in offering compassion, also feel the love. And together, there's simply more love in the world, and we all stand to gain. So this song is called If I Can, I Will. I hope you enjoy. If I can stop one heart, if I can stop one heart from falling all apart into pieces, I will not live my life in vain. If I can ease one soul, if I can ease one soul from falling down a hole into nothing, I will not live my life in vain. If I can soothe one pain, if I can lose one chain from holding back the rain of the juveniles, I will not live my life in vain. Where there's love, there's more love. Each of us will gain. Each small act of kindness means a life not lived in vain. So if a wee bird should call, if a wee bird should fall from stepping off the wall into emptiness, I will become the wind that fills its wings. We will together help each other sing. And now it's time for our final song. Once again, my name is Neil McNaughton, and I very much appreciate the opportunity to come and sing for you today as part of the People of Diversity service on compassion. This last song is called I'm Gonna Be There. It's another one of mine, and I think the lyrics speak for themselves, so I hope you enjoy, Have a great day, everyone. Any day, any hour, any minute, any time at all, I'm gonna be there by your side to help you get back on your feet again. When you're down, feeling low, kind of lonely, got no place to go, I'm gonna be there by your side. Help you get back on your feet again. Oh, we all have days that don't work out as planned. We could use a listening ear and a helping hand. If I wanna be there by your side, help you get back on your feet again. Yeah. If it's raining from those dark clouds in the sky, I will open my umbrella, baby, and keep you dry. I'm gonna be there by your side to help you get back on your feet again. And if it's late, and you should happen to be the date, well, don't hesitate to call. No trouble at all. I'm gonna be there by your side. Yeah, to help you get back on your feet again. Oh, we all have days that don't work out as planned, and we can use a listening ear and a helping hand. So I'm gonna be there by your side to help you get back on your feet again. Yeah. Oh, yeah. We all have days that don't work out as planned, but we can use a listening ear and a helping hand. That's why I'm gonna be there by your side to help you get back on your feet again. Yeah, I'm gonna be there by your side, oh, to help you get back on your feet again. Yeah, I'm gonna be there, baby, by your side to help you get back on your feet again. Yeah.
The commander of the occupation troops said to the mayor of the small village, "We know that you're hiding a guilty man, and unless you give him up to us, we're going to harass you and your people by every means in our power." The village was indeed hiding a man who seemed good and innocent and was loved by all. But what could the mayor do now that the welfare of the village was at stake? Days of discussion in the village council had led to no conclusion. So the mayor finally took the matter up with the priest. The priest and the mayor spent a whole night searching the scriptures and finally came up with a text that said, "It's better that one man die to save the many." So the mayor handed over the innocent man, whose screams echoed through the village as he was tortured and put to death. 20 years later, a prophet came to the village. He immediately gathered the mayor and the priest and said to them, "How could you have done that? That man was sent by God to help save the country, and you handed him over to be tortured and killed." Well, but where did we go wrong? They pleaded. We looked at the scriptures and did what they commanded. That was where you went wrong, said the prophet. You did look at the scriptures, but if you would have understood the scriptures, you would have only had to look into his eyes to know what to do. What do we find when we look into someone's eyes? What do we see and what comes of it? A deep truth is revealed in our eyes that cannot be explained, nor can we understand it by reading any scriptures or any texts. The rights and wrongs that those sacred texts present to us, the ceremonies that they advise us to perform, they are all what really causes us to love, so we think. But are they what really causes us to love and to have compassion for others? Can we really know or understand anything that comes from outside of us? Can we take information in, and then in order for it to cause change in us, what do we have to do? We have to allow it to pass through our hearts. Only then can we determine what we should do with it. And we've all seen evidence of what happens when information doesn't pass through the heart. So next time you have the chance, I want you to find someone and do this experiment. I want you to look in their eyes silently for at least 1 minute. And if you're feeling brave, 5 minutes. And then I want you to close your eyes and take in what you saw and think about what you know to be the greater truth about that person, because that's what you saw. And after that, would it be easy for you to discount them, to turn away from their pain or condemn them for who they are and the mistakes that they have made? If it would still be easy, then maybe it wasn't filtered through your heart after all. The eyes are called the window to the soul for a reason. And that's why we can see exactly that. That is what we see when we look in the eyes of other people. We see who they really are. We see beyond what they've done. And more importantly, if we really look, we see ourselves in them. We see our oneness, our frailty, the love of all humanity. So wouldn't it be a good thing for us to spend more time looking in people's eyes, listening to them, just allowing them to be in that moment, the unique blend of humanity and spirit that they understand themselves to be? Because if we did that, we wouldn't be able so easily to judge them. I'm not implying here that there aren't times that we need to stop people from harming themselves or others. And yet, when we do, even when we do that, we tend to label them in such a way that we consider them not fit for humanity. The truth is that no matter what kind of pain they've inflicted, everyone has a divine purpose. Everyone is created in the same love. Everyone has a divine presence within them. Everyone deserves to be loved and treated with compassion. Now, I want you to remember, this doesn't have to do with what they've done. It has to do with who they are. There's a saying in the Bible that says, in everything, do unto others what you would have them do to you. This rule of conduct is a summary of our duty to our neighbor and to ourselves. It's the rule of compassion. So let's define compassion before we go any further. Compassion is a feeling. I want to repeat that. Compassion is a feeling. We feel our distress to the suffering and misfortune of another. So in my words, it's the realization of our inescapable oneness with each other, and we feel it. Important point I want to make. Compassion is not understanding. It is not action. It may or may not cause you to take action in some way, and taking action does not define compassion. So compassion is more like the saying that's attributed to the ancient Greek physician Hippocrates, first do no harm. Compassion is a revelation of sameness that includes and always calls for do no harm. Now, it's going to get tricky because you can have compassion for someone who has to be sent to the guillotine, and you would say, well, that's doing harm. That's cause and effect. This do no harm comes from our heart, because in that same time we see what's happening to that person, and we can relate to the sadness, to the pain, to the fear, to all those things that are going on inside them. And the do no harm is the judgment, not to judge them, not to call them names, not to say they're hateful, not to say they're inhuman. Now, because not everybody, first of all, will ever be changed by our offer to help them the way we wish they would. But the good news is that it's not, that's not for us to determine. Our biggest responsibility is to do our part, which is to not judge, not hate, to see ourselves in others, and to show compassion. The magic of compassion itself will in some way cause change for both of us automatically. And not judge does not mean that you can't say what they did was a terrible thing. But what we can't do is say they're terrible. They themselves, as a human being, are terrible human beings. Because even when we think about people who have done horrific things to others, we most often most often, all in some point in time as children and growing up, have, someplace along the way wanted to be loved, wanted to be understood, wanted to be accepted in a way that they weren't. And over time, that acting out to get those needs, unfortunately, makes it harder for people to love them. And it's difficult to love certain kinds of people. And yet, if we don't love everyone, it's impossible for us to really say we're compassionate people. One of the reasons it seems hard to love people is because we have misperceptions about what love means, what love does, and our responsibility as expressions of love. If we believe that if we love others, then we have to express it by a set of predetermined rules, then that's not really love, for one thing. But we often believe that it goes like this. If you love people and you have compassion for them, you have to accept their behavior, feed them, clothe them, give them our time and attention, all kinds of things. And I want us to not be confused that that doing things is not compassion or love in itself. So those things might be considered act of charity and service, which you can do, by the way, or not do with love or compassion. I've seen, and you've seen, actions taken by people in the world that clearly do not love or have compassion for the people that they pretend to have love and compassion for, but in some way are simply manipulating a situation by helping or by acting, in service to them. But remember, the action of compassion is simply to do no harm. I know that there are definitions of different kinds of love, and there are lots of them, and I don't want us to get involved in more definitions or words, because really, remember that words are only a description of an experience. So let's see if we can actually forget the descriptions and get to the what does it feel like, because feeling it is what it's all about. And so sometimes our confusion over love and our responsibility becomes overwhelming. And the thing is, we have to stay diligent to keeping our hearts open and allowing what we learn and experience to go in and through our hearts before we make decisions about it, before we take those actions, if we choose to anyway. Loving people that are difficult isn't easy. Being compassionate and, loving people isn't always easy. And by overlooking, certain things in the world that aren't easy to look at, and I mean exactly that, just simply not easy to look at, certainly is not looking into their eyes, not even making an attempt to look at what is difficult and what you are seeing. So I'm going to, say this. You've all heard it before if you know me very well, that I don't watch the news because it's too upsetting to me. It happens to be one of my pet peeves. But it does keep us from seeing others in their suffering, in their dilemmas, in their confusion. It keeps us from releasing out into the world the energy of much needed compassion. It keeps us from being fully human on this earth. And sorry, but it's absolutely true. We are here on earth having a human experience as long as we're breathing. And trying to avoid fully seeing is only half living. And I'm sorry to say, whether you believe it or not, it's not enlightening. It's not like Jesus. It's not spiritual. It's not living from the heart. And you won't escape the karma of not seeing. It's not brave. A truly open heart, a heart that truly loves in the way all the sacred texts attempt to teach us to love, a heart with that kind of love stays open to all of the human experience. It looks into the eyes of all of its neighbors, and that includes everyone, and the love extends out endlessly. It has no limits, no matter where they are, no matter what they're doing, no matter what they've done, no matter what they haven't done, no matter who they've loved. We extend that compassion out to everyone. And that's the kind of love that we're striving for. It's the kind of love the world is longing for. That's the kind of love that Jesus taught those around him to have. He taught them not just with his words, he taught them with his very being. He showed people over and over again what compassion looks like. He said to his disciples to love each other as he had loved them, and that they would be, an example to everyone that they met. He stressed over and over that all the laws are fulfilled when we come to the place in consciousness where we are able to love God, love our neighbors, love ourselves, when we're capable of loving each other the way he loved. The extent of our ability to love and be compassionate is the yardstick by which we can measure our progress of awakening as spiritual beings. The loss seems necessary until we can fully unite our divided selves. And when that happens, we will know that love is all that matters. We're here in this world to grow in awareness by means of individual and collective experiences, and we are so hard on each other. We don't judge and gossip about children, saying that they're flawed or condemn them when they're walking and they fall down, or when they don't pronounce their words perfectly, or when they throw little tantrums and throw themselves on the floor. And, when they're learning to write and all the letters aren't perfect. Imagine what a different world it would be if we afforded that same kind of acceptance and compassion for other adults. We as adults have some pretty difficult circumstances to go through. Couldn't we all be more compassionate, love and understanding better, and, giving more grace to the people around us? And then there's that cosmic mystery that each of us is uniquely part of, that we are all here to express, to learn, to make an impact differently. And you have no idea, and I have no idea what another person's role on this planet is supposed to be. So give it up. We think we do. And by our negative judgments, we show the progress of the expression of love on the planet. Not so great a good deal of the time. Imagine what we would miss in the human experience if there was no reason to be compassionate. Compassion helps us see ourselves, the great and the not so great aspects of ourselves. So let's say that someone is here on a spiritual journey and they're here to break all kinds of acceptable social rules. And we look out there right now and we see that happen all the time. And I don't know how you feel about it, and it doesn't matter, but I would guess that occasionally you find yourself saying, what are they doing? I think they should blah, blah, blah. And they're not being a very good example of blah, blah, blah. And the truth is, they're the very best example of what happens if and when. Good or bad, either way, we learn something from them. Jesus understood very clearly this cosmic journey that we're on. He understood that we're all perfect already, no matter what we're experiencing. And he knew that we are really the essence of love, even if we have forgotten it. And he knew that when other people show us love, it helps us remember who we really are. And that's what he did over and over again. One of the reasons he is so beloved by all of humanity. There's only the journey of life and what we choose along the way. There's no right or wrong way of traveling. This is the understanding we need to extend to all people. What we believe is right or wrong is only our opinion. And you certainly are, and your preference. And you certainly are entitled to that. But you're not entitled to use that against other people. Because truthfully, nothing can be done right or wrong. And when we do unto others like we would have them do unto us, it is only then when we stop judging and naming and thinking what is best for them. If it were not necessary for all of us to have positive and negative experiences in life, because there are positive and negative polarities on the earth, then they wouldn't have been created that way. I guess, we could say there would only be the sun and warm and white and pleasure and up and love, and we would still find a way to disagree with it. But if the moon and the darkness and the cold and the pain and the sickness and down and fear didn't serve a purpose, they would have been left out of the creation scheme. And guess what? There would be no vibration on this planet, because polar opposites cause that, the existence of them and the way they operate together. The so-called letter of the law would have us judge according to people's actions to determine if they were worthy for our love. People make mistakes. You would be appalled at some of the mistakes I have made. And no, I'm not telling you any of them that you don't already know. Jesus showed us what compassion looks like in John 8, and I'm going to read that to you. The scribes and the Pharisees brought a woman who had been charged in adultery, and making her stand before all of them, they said to Jesus, "Teacher, this woman was caught in the very act of adultery. Now, in the law of Moses, it commands us to stone such a woman. What do you say?" Jesus bent down and wrote with his fingers in the sand. And when they kept questioning him, he sat back up and he said to them, "Let anyone among you who is without sin be the first to throw a stone at her." And once again, he bent down and he continued to write in the sand. When they heard it, they went away, one by one, beginning with the elders. So beginning with the supposedly wisest among them. Jesus was left alone with the woman standing there before him. And Jesus sat up and he said to her, "Woman, where are they? Has anyone condemned you?" And she said, "No, sir." And he said, "Neither do I condemn you. Go your way, and from now on, do not sin again." Don't make that choice again. Jewish law considered adultery a greater sin than murder. So put this in perspective. The feeling of the people that brought her forward would be like bringing a man forward who had just kidnapped and murdered a child. How would we react in this instance? Would we be able to say, "Let whoever among you who to be sinless to throw the first stone at him"? Oh, heck no. So imagine this woman standing in the middle of a group of people who had judged her, who have done such a terrible crime. Jesus looked into her eyes and saw who she really was, and he treated her with compassion and non-judgment. According to the Jewish law, a man or a woman guilty of adultery were to be executed. He completely ignores the law because he's looking in the eyes of one of God's perfect creation. He writes in the dirt with his finger. No one knows what he was doing. Maybe he was thinking, maybe he was redirecting the energy of the accusers, or maybe the action was an enactment of his feeling that all judgments are as unimportant as the words written in dust. Maybe he was thinking that compassion is all that mattered in this moment. This is the only gospel in which Jesus is asked by others to judge, and he absolutely refused. Why? Because there is no judge outside of ourselves. He practiced what he preaches. He made it clear that the behavior is condemned, but not the person. And the blame is always a dangerous weapon, and it always points both ways. Jesus ended this encounter with this woman by including himself in those that did not judge her. Can we refrain from judgment of the actions of people that we know right here today? Is our love big enough? Are our hearts open enough? Have we looked at them closely enough? If we know that we're doing the best that we know how to do, it's our spiritual responsibility to extend that knowing to others, because we're all one. Jesus said this about our relationship with others. I say to you, if you are angry with your brother and sister, you will be liable to judgment. Translation: even our thoughts of anger set in motion the law of cause and effect. He goes on to say, if you insult a brother or sister, and if you say you fool, you will be liable to the hell of fire. Whoa. Translation: that's how much damage it does to us and the other person. When we judge and we lash out in that judgment. He goes on to say, when you're offering your gift at the altar, if you remember that your brother or sister has something against you, leave your gift there before the altar and go. First be reconciled with your brother or sister, and then come and offer your gift. This is translation. This is how important it is that we love each other and have compassion for each other. I believe that what's being said here is that doing this is our offering to Spirit. I believe that is what he means here. What we mistakenly offer to Spirit is insignificant compared to our relationships with each other. If God created all of us to be here in this experience together, to be some vibration of love, to be having this human experience, to be living in this polarized creation, wouldn't it make sense that to see us behave lovingly and compassionately to others might be the greatest gift we could offer this experience, that we could offer this creation of love? Looking into the eyes of someone and choosing compassion is often much tougher than following the law. We make laws in this country every day, and yet, even though they try, they can't legislate everything. However, we are responsible for everything that we do and think and say and fail to do. Jesus always taught us to love. Love is the way of being. It's a particular level of consciousness, one that transcends the positive and the negative, always making the dualities of this life come together in a wholeness. Look and really see with your heart. Feel compassion and go about your life doing no harm. Blessings. So I invite you now to close your eyes. And breathe into that heart space. We all know how to direct this energy. We all know how to breathe into that space. So we close our eyes. If you want to, put your hands on your heart and breathe into that space. This is where the truth of our existence lives, in this heart space. Connecting with this is, I believe, the greatest gift we can offer to each other and to the divine. So I want you to just imagine for a moment, bring to mind someone that you have judged, someone that you're judging. And stand that person in front of you. And you do not have to accept their behavior. But I want you to look in their eyes until you can feel love for them, until you can see yourself. Until you can see suffering and fear and sadness. And eventually beauty and God. We've all come here equally, designed, created, equally loved. And we still are that, regardless of what we've done. And whoever it is that you're judging, is also an important, sacred creation. Invited here to do things you don't need to understand, you don't need to like. We look past those things and we extend love to them. And now we let them go. And we let go of our judgment. And we begin to get clear about the difference between what they do and who they are. And we say thank you. Thank you that if we commit to it and we want it and we look for it, we can find the greater truth of everyone, because it's there and it's there for us to find. And we say thank you that this amazing journey that we are on allows us to extend out into the universe in ways that we forget, in magical ways that we can't imagine once we look. And we say thank you. And so it is. Amen.
Thank you, Neil. It's so nice to have you in the family, and we appreciate you joining us. And Rev Sue, we love you so much. It's always so clear how much Sue loves the pod, because she was one of the founding members. She's on our board of directors, and that connection always comes through. So thanks, Sue. Philip and team, yay. Every week we send you, sometimes it's crazier than others, but we send you some bits of crazy, and you manage to take it all and put it together and make it flow, and we are really appreciative of everything that you all do. If you are out there in the world and you need this sort of stuff, either virtual or live, contact Philip and his crew, and they will take care of you. Following the service from 11:45 to 12:15, we'll do our live Zoom deep dive. The event, or the link, is in the event. It's on the screen below. It's easy. Come on, and we'll. Sue says she's going to be there, so it'll be fun, and we just chit chat and talk about the message and share ideas and share thoughts. So it's good, and we keep it right to 30 minutes. We don't want to suck up the day. So. And then on Sunday evening at 5:45, we rebroadcast the morning service. So if you want to watch it again, that's always a good thing to do. Or you want to send somebody back, if you heard something in the morning and you want to send somebody back to the evening service, if something touched you or you know somebody that might benefit from that, send them on. Also, you can go to our People of Diversity YouTube channel, and there's a really cool function on there. It's live at 10:30 on Sunday mornings, or you can go back anytime and use the playlist function. And if you want to search on topic, you say you want to hear all the talks on oneness or all the talks on compassion, you just search on the topic and you get all 10 perspectives of that topic. Or if you want to hear all the Jewish talks or all the Baha'i talks or all the Wiccan talks, you just go and search on the faith perspective, and you can get to them all like that. It's a really cool function, so check it out. Next week we have Wiccan Oracle, and his musical guest will be Kimberly Warkentin, and this will be our last week on compassion.
Tithes, offerings, donations, whatever your word is, you can send them to www.peopleofdiversity.org. Let's take a moment now and just acknowledge and move into a place of gratitude for those offerings. If you'll take a breath, plant your feet, close your eyes if you choose to. Spirit, thank you for all that comes together to make every service, to bring this group of folks together who present, who listen, who put it all together. We are so very, very grateful. And we say amen.
Amen.
All right, don't click off just yet. The very, very, very importantest part of the services right now. It's such a good set of words, wasn't it? If you'll bring to your mind's eye anyone in your world who needs love, support, healing in any way, and put them into an energetic circle, and don't forget to include yourselves and perhaps even the people who are running our happy planet, and let's just all put some love out there and around that circle, and we're sending out love for you, and have an amazing day, an amazing week, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.
One power, one power, one power, one power, one power, one power. There's one power invisible, and you see it everywhere and every day. One power indescribable, and you speak of it with every word you say. Mysterious until you know the truth, as simple as the love inside of you. Call it God, call it Spirit, call it Jesus, call it Lord, call it Buddha, Baha'u'llah, angels' wings or heaven's door. But whatever name you give it, it's all one power, can't you see? It's the power of the love in you.